Good evening, friends. Welcome one and all to Super 25 2.0, India's largest online stock traders conference. Friends, today we are in the 12th session of our seminar series, and today's session is titled Trading Price Momentum Using RPS in Various Time Frames. Our speaker for today is Harish, who is a chartered accountant by profession, a very good friend of mine. We call him Harry. He is a technical trader, positional price action trader. He predominantly focuses on supply demand concepts fueled with Bollinger Bands, and he has been in the finance domain for quite a long time. So he studies a lot of sentiments and trends of markets across various sectors. So Harish, I think you are speaking for the second time in our conference. It's a great pleasure to have you on board again. On behalf of the entire audience, I extend my warm welcome into the program.
Thank you so much, Ashok sir. So, good evening to everyone. First of all, thank you so much for sparing time to attend today's session. I hope you all are healthy and taking a good care of yourself and your family. Thank you so much, Ashok sir, for such a nice introduction. I'm truly humbled. Let me tell you one thing. We are grateful to Traders Gurukul for such a nice platform. And this Super 25 is a festival of learning. I've not even missed a single session for the event so far. Daily dose of new learning. Thank you so much.
We are
So
honored,
friends,
sir. The stage is yours. Thank you very much.
so before we start, few things about me. I'm a chartered accountant. Started trading in 2015. Before that, also I was in market, but no rule-based trading. So busted a few accounts, but met some blessed people and realized the importance of learning. So slowly getting evolved to a better trader. That what I was day before. So my trades are basically, as Ashok sir said, they are short-term based on behavior of price. And my main aim is to protect capital. So if you are able to protect your capital, then definitely you'll make money. That's what I think. My analysis mix based on charts with analysis of demand and supply, so backed with few price action indicators. So Bollinger Band, one of them. I like to keep myself abreast of overall sentiments and trend of markets and various sectors. So why I love being here? Because when one teaches to learn, this was said by Mr. Robert Heinlein. You can follow me on Twitter at Harry007. So with this note, let's start today's webinar. So today's agenda will be, first of all, we'll have some discussion on Dow theory. Then we'll move to demand and supply. Thereafter, we'll go to strength, that is absolute and relative. We'll discuss it. Thereafter, we'll go to our main topic, that is relative strength, or we can say that relative price strength or RPS. So if I say RS, RPS, relative strength, so all are same. Then we'll have look upon few divergence. Then how to trade, invest using relative price strength. So we'll discuss a setup and rules thereof. Then we'll discuss about pair trading, and then we'll go through few examples, and then we'll move to our query section. So a general disclaimer before starting the session. So the material used in presentation may or may not be the property of presenter and the organizer of the webinar. Charts and example in presentation are just for the reference, and you don't need to take any clue that there are some advice or endorsement. And this is an important one. A trading system cannot be rigid, because technical analysis is not a hardcore science, but it's an art. So you can tweak your system a bit as per the demand of setup or context. All systems have their own limitations. They may or they may not work in all environments. And the main thing is risk management is the most important thing, without which one is bound to lose capital. So guys, risk management is the first and foremost thing. So we'll start with introduction. So before moving ahead, let's start with a general question. So look at this chart. This is a breakout after a consolidation of around 1 year. Volume was used And it is said in technical analysis that lower the consolidation, stronger and trustworthy the breakouts are. So will you go and buy this stock? You can just type yes or no. Ashok sir, is there any problem? And nobody is typing, or I am not able to
It
see
is
the.
gone. It would have gone to the bottom. Just expand it, and there is, after question and answer, there is something. If you stretch bigger, there is something called received. You click on received. You at the top, it will put it in descending order.
Okay, just
Did you
because
get it?
I'm just. I'm not getting the name of who is replying.
You need to stretch it to the right. It is small. You need to stretch it to the right. Right bottom, there is an stretcher.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Good.
So I'm repeating the question because someone has said that I don't understand the question. Please explain it further. Hello.
Go ahead, Harish.
So this is a consolidation. This is a breakout after 1 year of consolidation with attractive volumes. So I just asked whether you would go and buy this stock or not. So many people are saying yes, we'll buy. Okay. So there is another question. This is a breakout of symmetrical triangle. Volumes not that compelling as compared to our previous chart, but it is an uptrend, and it is said in technical analysis that symmetrical triangle are lesser trustworthy. So will you buy this? No. So few are saying no and few are saying yes. So let us see, if you buy stock A or stock B, what happens to them? So this is stock X, this is stock Y. What happened after we buy, after this breakout? The breakout could not sustain and it fell off. What happened to stock Y? It went and went and went. Why this happened? So the reason for this is this purple line. So what is this purple line? So this is the line on which our today's webinar is based. So this is a line of RPS. So we'll discuss it in detail further. Let's move ahead. So first of all, we'll discuss the Doe theory. So we should be very thankful to Mr. Charles Doe, who gave us the concept of trend. We all know that market does not move in a definite direction. Rather, it moves in a series of higher high, higher low, or lower high, or lower low. We all know that. So bull trend is when the market or price is making higher high and higher low, and the bear trend is when the price is making lower high and lower low. So in this case, there is a change of trend when the previous high is broken by the price. Then we can say that it is a beginning of a new trend, or we can say if it is earlier a downtrend, so it is a beginning of a new uptrend. Then again, if suppose the previous swing low is broken by the price, we can say that this is the end of uptrend or start of downtrend. So this is the Doe theory all about. So this is the current price of Nifty. We can see that this is a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So from this point to this point, we can say that Nifty was in uptrend. But for this period, there is no clear trend. So we can say there is no uptrend, there is no downtrend. This is a consolidation loop because there is no clear trend here. Now, why these higher high and higher low are made? This is because of demand and supply. So what is demand and supply? It is a first and foremost thing for a technical trader. Basically, demand and supply, or we can say price action, is the only indicator, or we can say that it is an only tool we should use. All other things are just secondary to that, right? Demand and supply is a study of how buyers and sellers interact to determine the transaction price and quantities. And the pro traders, they use the demand and supply to find the levels location of their prospective trades. What is demand? It refers to how much quantity of a product is desired by the buyers at a certain price. What is the supply? It represents how much the market can offer for the desired product. And what is an equilibrium? It is a point where the price, supply and demand meets, or we can say it is a price in reflection of equilibrium of demand and supply, where the demand and supply meets, a price is decided, and we can say that it is an equilibrium price. And there exists a cycle of equilibrium and disequilibrium. This cycle goes on. So what is equilibrium? We'll just discuss it. Suppose there are 4 buyers, A, B, C, D. All of them are willing to buy 1000 shares each at 50 rupees. And on the other side, there are 2 sellers who wants to sell 500 shares each for rupees 50. We can say that there exists the equilibrium for 1000 shares, for these 500 plus 500, for 1000 shares at 50 rupees. Suppose what happens after that? Suppose these 1000 shares which are demanded by this buyer A, the demand of this buyer will be satisfied by these 2 sellers, 1 and 2. He'll just buy the shares and go to his home. What happens to B, C, D? They are still standing with their bid price of 50 rupees, but no seller is there who is willing to sell their shares at 50 rupees. Then we can say that this is a situation of disequilibrium. So what happens next? Either these buyers have to increase the price, or these sellers have to reduce the price. Suppose suppose Mr. B gets greedy, he knows that if I buy these stocks at 55 rupees, I can sell it further on at a price of 65 or 70. Then the equilibrium will exist at 55 rupees. But suppose this seller, he knows, or he has a news, or he thinks, he perceives that the price of these shares will fall to 40 or 35 rupees. Then he'll be ready to sell at 50 rupees. What happens next? Suppose this buyer B gets greedy and he increases price to 55. So these 1000 shares, the demand of these 1000 shares will be satisfied by seller number 3 or 4. So we can say that now the situation of equilibrium arises at 55 for 1000 shares again. Right. So equilibrium, either buyer have to increase the price or sellers have to go down. Suppose buyers increase their bid price, the new price is arrived at. What is the conclusion? That disequilibrium is a situation when one of the 2 competing forces, that is buyers and sellers, or bidders or askers, become zero at a specific price, which leads to a change in price and finally equilibrium once again. And we can say that greed and fear are the factors which leads a situation of disequilibrium into that of equilibrium. So this cycle of equilibrium and disequilibrium will keep on going in the market. So why we need to focus on the concept of demand and supply? Because of the value zone, or we can say demand and supply zone, which is created by the big money or institution. So demand and supply zones or value zones, these are the area where participants are willing to absorb the excess supply or demand. These areas are normally created by the large institutions and hence attractive to the participants. So in near future, they are ready to buy the stock at the prices or demand in the demand zone, which was created by the institution. So we can also say that these are the support or resistances, but only when when the buyers or sellers exist there. Suppose previous swing low was 100, so now the price is 120. So if the price again goes to 100, it will be said support or resistance, or we can say demand or supply, only if it finds some interested buyers there. So at supports, buyer emerge leading to reversal in price rise. Similarly at resistance, sellers emerge to reduce the price. So supply zone acts as a resistance in future also, as all the sellers may not be exhausted and will come again to sell if they get same price again. And price has high probability to fall from that zone again. Similarly, demand zone also acts as a support because all the buyers, or we can say unfilled orders of the institution, may not be exhausted and they will come again to buy if they get the same price. So price has high probability to rise from zone again. Okay. So this is a example of demand and supply zones. Use a pencil here. So this was a swing low, and when the price visited again near this swing low, the prices started moving up. Why? Because there might be some few unfilled order left, or there might be some buyers who could not buy at this price previous time, so they will be ready to buy the stock at this moment of time. So when the price came here, they bought and the price started rising. Then again, this is a supply zone. So few sellers who could not sell last time, they will be ready to sell here. But few buyers who bought here, they will again buy here, they will again buy here. And then when the price gave breakout from here, this is a technical term that there will be a change in polarity, that we can say that supply zone once broken will act as a support in the near future, right? So this is the change in polarity. So this supply zone converted into demand zone here. So when the price visited to this zone, the price started to move up. So this is